Let me ask you something real. Have you ever found yourself finally choosing peace, cutting ties, setting boundaries, no longer explaining yourself, only to feel heavier, not lighter? You thought healing would feel like freedom, but instead it feels like silence, distance, solitude. That's not a sign that you're broken. It's not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you've stepped into your power, and power has a weight to it. Welcome to Empowered Shadows. I'm your host, Shayla, and tonight we begin with the truth behind the silence. Healing isn't glamorous. It's not always affirmations and rose water. Sometimes healing looks like standing in the room you once begged to be in and realizing it no longer fits who you've become. Because when you truly begin to choose yourself, not perform it, not pretend it, but choose yourself from the marrow of your becoming, you'll feel it. You'll feel the heaviness, the ache, the sacred solitude. That's the crown. And no, it's not gold. It's forged from betrayal, broken cycles, emotional boundaries, and the bones of your former self. This episode is for those who've learned that leadership of the self comes at a price. Let's talk about what it means to wear the crown and why it feels so heavy when you finally do. The hidden costs of choosing yourself. No one warned you that the first stage of liberation feels like grief. You'll grieve the versions of you who once kept the peace by betraying yourself. You'll grieve the friendships that only love the silent, self-sacrificing version of you. You'll grieve your need to be liked, to be safe, to be chosen. This isn't weakness. This is withdrawal. You're not failing. You're detoxing. Detoxing from over-explaining, from approval seeking, from begging for scraps at tables you were never meant to sit at. The weight you're carrying isn't just pain, it's power you haven't learned to wear yet. The crown is a mirror. The crown feels heavy because it reflects everything you've outgrown. It exposes every place you've shrunk yourself just to survive. Every time you said yes while screaming no in silence. Every role you played to feel lovable, to feel accepted. You're not too sensitive. You're not too much. You've just stopped shape-shifting to be digestible. The crown says, I will no longer collapse to be palatable. I will no longer dim just to be invited. This is the weight of living in your truth when lies are easier currency. Guard your throne, not your heart. Once you rise, they'll test you. Not always with words, but with silence, with shade, with withdrawal. Protect your peace, but don't become stone. Guard your throne, but don't abandon your softness. Discernment is your armor now. Let it look like this, saying, I understand, without defending yourself. Walking away with peace instead of performing your pain. Letting go without closure because clarity is enough. The sovereign version of you no longer chases validation. You move like a storm that knows its path. Becoming the crown. The crown is not a prop. It's not a title. It's a vow. To honor your intuition when no one else believes you. To prioritize your peace over pleasing. To live in alignment even when it costs you comfort. You are not becoming someone else. You're becoming yourself. The one your shadow kept safe. The one your inner child prayed for. The one your pain tried to silence. And yes, it feels uneasy. Because power, when unlearned, feels like punishment. But this is not the end of you. It is the unfolding. Let them say you've changed. Let them say you've grown distant. What they're really saying is, you stopped breaking yourself to fit in the frame of who they needed you to be. You rose, you remembered, you reclaimed your crown. The crown doesn't ask for applause. It asks for alignment. It will cost you comfort. It will strip away illusion. It will leave you misunderstood by the very people who once called you safe. But it will give you back your name, your voice, your truth. Because uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Not because it's unworthy, but because it carries the weight of everything you refuse to abandon in yourself. This is Empowered Shadows, a sanctuary for the ones who no longer bow to silence, to shame, or to survival. For the ones who lead not with noise, but with knowing. Not with performance, but with presence. The crown you carry may be invisible to others, but you feel its weight. And that weight is not a burden. It's evidence. It's evidence of everything you've overcome. Of every version of you that died so you could live in truth. Of the lineage you're healing quietly, fiercely, and without apology. So when the ache rises, when the solitude stretches, and when the silence grows so loud, remember, you are not being punished. You are being positioned for a life rooted in reverence, not residue. Wear your truth like armor. Stand tall in the heaviness. Let it press you into presence, because you are no longer waiting to be crowned. You already are.